every 10 or 15 years, a film is produced that is so overwhelming, so forceful in its impact, that it becomes deeply embedded in the mind.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
Appreciate your choosing our theater. And to make this experience more enjoyable for everyone, we hope you'll refrain from talking during the show. Enjoy the movie. Thank you.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It's been one of those weeks. So my name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a kick-ass show for you today. But as always, Benjamin, how's it going, bud?
It's going well. It's going well. Super psyched, as usual.
Oh,
we always
hell,
have
man.
awesome guests. I mean, yeah, we do. We always have awesome guests. But I don't want to talk too much because we have a very limited time tonight with our amazing guests. So,
yeah. Seems the bigger the guest, the shorter the time. But, just...
it's, it had something to do with D&D. That's all I know.
Well, I will say that this particular guest was very classy and actually showed up early.
I know.
That's rare. But yeah, we have a limited time frame for this one, so let's just get right to it. Let's welcome Amy Chang.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Good, thanks for that intro.
Oh, we just try and make people laugh and smile. See, it's working.
Yeah.
Right?
Very
Right. Yeah, we're not the normal by
No.
any stretch of the imagination.
Normal these days.
Well, we're not scripted at all.
Mhm.
And as far as dialogue, it's just kind of whatever comes. And it seems to be enjoyable for most of our guests.
That's a good thing.
Right.
Well, it's better than boring and drab and the
Yeah,
same old question and the same old question and the same old question.
absolutely.
So, but we are here mainly to promote your new movie that is coming out.
Mhm.
No, I think
It
it's already
came
out.
out May
Is it
3rd.
out?
May
Yeah.
3rd.
Oh, okay. It
Available
did
on
come
demand.
out. Okay.
Jeff didn't do his homework. Sorry.
No, I was busy watching it.
I was busy doing my homework.
And with your powers combined,
Right?
pull you ready.
Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
So the movie's called In a New York Minute,
Mhm.
which takes about an hour and 45 minutes to actually get through.
A very long
Right.
minute. Yes.
It's a very long minute.
It's a
yes.
feature film length minute.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how that began and how you got that part and basically what the movie is about.
So I first saw the actors usually get breakdowns on something called Actors Access, or there's a number of other casting sites. So in my particular case, I saw it on Actors Access, and it was breakdowns for 3 lead Asian American female roles, which at the time, this was back in 2017, was a rare occurrence to have a feature film that had these types of lead roles. And so I was immediately attracted to it. And then when I read the breakdowns, I connected with the character of Amy Chen. And my name is Amy Chang. So there was already the name attraction.
Right.
But then also just the description of her character, I was like, oh, this is someone that I relate to, and I feel I would be able to portray very, very clearly. And so then I submitted for the project. I was called in, did the audition, met the director, and the rest was history. I booked the role. I was very grateful for the opportunity, and it was a amazing project to be a part of.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know what to think yet about them. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
Mhm.
The beginning was a little bit weird for me. There was a lot of puking and stuff going on.
Yes, right. So just to give you a basic synopsis, the film is about these 3 Asian American women. Each of them, it's kind of a series of short films, and they all come together, and they're connected by a pregnancy test, very loosely. So my character story, Amy Chen, she is a food editor, and she's suffering from a recent breakup that has manifested itself as an eating disorder. So thus the puking in the beginning, which also you can imagine is problematic for her career as a food editor.
Right.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I had to bring that one part up. I mean, it was just because that's kind of how the thing started off for me. I'm like, okay, where is this going to go?
Right.
Spoiler
but
alert.
yeah. Well, I did like
It's not really a
the
spoiler.
I know. I'm just
no,
being-
not
No,
really.
no, it's not.
You know, I did like the mix of the English and it was Mandarin,
That's correct.
right? Because you speak fluent Mandarin, don't you?
I personally do not actually.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I thought you did.
Yeah. So I was born in Taiwan, but my family immigrated to the U.S. when I was about 4 to Kansas because that was where we had some extended family. So
Toto.
yes, Mexico. And I was of the generation where my parents very much wanted me to learn to speak English fluently, and we went to a predominantly Caucasian school. So my brother and I were essentially like the only Asians, at least in my memory. You know, that might
in
not.
Kansas.
Kansas, right,
right?
at that time. Right. And so even though my parents, kind of like you see in the movie where Amy's mom speaks to her in Mandarin, she responds in English. That's very much the kind of conversations that me and my parents would have, where they would speak to me in a combination of Taiwanese and Mandarin, and then I would respond in English. Because it's different to like understand the language, but I wouldn't necessarily know it well enough to be able to respond. And it wasn't until I went to college that I took some Mandarin classes and got a little bit better, but it's still, you know.
So you understand the language a lot better than you can actually speak it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what she said, Jeff. I'm just saying.
He was just making sure that he heard what I said correctly.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ben.
Just saying.
Hey, Ben.
See, I'm number one again tonight.
Oh, geez. Okay, to keep us on rails. So speaking of where you grew up, did I read right that you spent a majority of your time in Rhode Island?
In Georgia, actually. So my family moved from Kansas to Georgia, and then I went to school in Rhode Island. I went to Providence. Yeah.
I knew Rhode Island was in that.
Yes.
I was gonna say, man, you guys really didn't do your homework, man.
I did my homework.
There's pieces in there. It's okay.
She considers herself a Georgia peach. I mean, hello. I'm just saying. Okay.
So I learned. I want to thank you because I learned a new word today.
What's that?
Semiotics.
Oh, yes.
So maybe you did do your homework.
I always do my homework. Yeah, I read that and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I had no idea. And when I Googled it and actually looked at the definition of it, I'm like, they actually teach that?
They did. It's no longer a major at Brown, but at the time, when I was at school there, it was still a major, art semiotics.
And it's about signs.
Yes, exactly. Like signs and symbols and how we interpret them. You know, you see a picture of a tree, a photograph of a tree versus a drawing of a tree versus a real life tree. They all signify tree to us. But like, why is it that we are able to make those connections? So combination of that and like psychology and a couple of other, and then combining that with visual arts.
Oh, okay. So you big into like ink blots and stuff too?
I think some people who majored in that might be. I personally find them interesting, but I don't study.
Okay, that was just an odd question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where did that come from?
So imagery and psychology. I read a book. Had to be a little over 10 years ago, and it was the psychology of marketing and imagery. And one of the tests they did was, they had somebody travel from down some certain streets, and they placed some certain images across the way and certain colors and stuff, and were able to guide them towards a specific test within a purchase within a test. Did you? I know this is totally off the wall, but did you study any of that or?
I didn't personally, but I think that there are people who might have majored in art semiotics and then ended up going into marketing. I think that is a very natural path to go into. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's why I bought those jeans.
Exactly. Yeah, and it talked about the psychology of when you're deciding between some items, they'll give you like 3 choices, and like just the psychology between the 3, like one is like better than the other, and then one is like way off, to guide you into where they want you to go. Marketing.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn to bring everybody back on track tonight. So we're here to promote In a New York Minute.
Yes,
and our
we have the
amazing
trailer,
guest,
don't we?
Yeah,
We
and
do.
our amazing guest, Amy Chang. But Leo, where can they find out about our amazing guest?
Well, definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And we do have the trailer. The movie came out May 3rd, so definitely it's by Gravitas Ventures, which makes some amazing movies. Here we go.
We can start whenever you're ready, Miss Chen. About a year ago, not long after we broke up, I've lost the urge to eat anything. But I'm a food editor. It's my job to eat.
Hi, my name is Angel Lee.
She is huge in China.
Some writer wants me to read for his script. 如果我要是离婚的话，我会娶我老公。
你不觉得我们现在蛮好的吗？就我们两个人。
Nina Wong, working late again tonight. And nice guys don't mix with girls like us.
I don't want you working at the KTV anymore. It's not good for you.
Why do you care so much about me, Ian?
You know why.
Would you choose love or freedom? 我这辈子没做过什么好事，可是也没做过什么伤天害理的坏事，除了遇到你。
I convinced myself that time would heal all wounds and fix my mistakes. I realized the need to live my own life, not what my parents or society envisions me to be. This is what I really want, to be true to myself.
See, Leo, if you were
Awesome.
using another platform, I could have just pushed the button and it would have clapped for me.
Yeah, I highly recommend people check it out. Check out this flick. It's
a great watch.
It's funny, it's heartwarming, and like I said, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again because I know I missed a lot of the little innuendos that were going on.
I'm gonna have to watch it with my wife because that's probably definitely her style movie, and I might get brownie points for that. Be like, honey, I found this great movie for us to watch together. Yeah, that wouldn't happen, but she'd still watch the movie with me, but then it'd just be like, okay.
Oh, really?
To me, anyways. No, she'd like the movie, but to me, I'd be like, hey, yeah.
Now, you also do a little bit of modeling too, right?
Yes, I've done some commercial modeling, like print modeling.
Yeah, and you've done some high profile commercials too for like Dell and Verizon.
Yes.
And
My dad was very proud of the Dell commercial because I got to play a doctor. So one, and then two, because it was an international campaign, and so there would be a giant poster of me as a doctor in an airport in Germany, or there would be print ads in The Economist, and so he was able to share that with his friends at church, which I think just got him brownie points.
Right.
And, did I see it on a subway as well? Like a subway train?
Yes, There were people sitting on my face at one point. That was definitely a weird experience. The whole train was wrapped in the campaign, and then on some of the seats too. So yeah.
Yeah, the marketing editor did not think that one through.
I don't know what goes into decision making on that end.
Right. But like Jeff said, you've played some high profile things, but you've been in a lot of other amazing stuff. One of my favorites is Law and Order: Organized Crime.
Yes.
I mean, that is something that we watch religiously.
Oh yeah.
And I told, I told my wife, I'm like, we get to interview Amy Chang, and she's like, I'm like, her, and she goes, I have to work. Sucks to be you.
You can watch it later.
Yeah. You can watch it on demand. Sorry.
Technology these days. Wonderful.
Right. What was it like? Well, what is it like? Because you're still on the show. What is it like being part of that show?
Well, actually, my character was only on that one episode, but I would love to be brought back. So if anybody is listening for the network, but it was a great experience because one, I think a lot of New York actors like to joke that you're not officially a New York actor until you've been on a Law and Order. In one of the many.
One of Mr. Wolf's creations.
Yes, yeah. So that was kind of like my now I'm officially a New York actor moment, even though I've been acting for a while. And then the other aspect was that I got to wear a pregnancy belly, which was an interesting experience. I personally have not had the joy of motherhood, but it was interviewing some of my friends who have been pregnant in the past and be like, okay, so like, how do you what is it like when you're sitting, when you're walking around, so that was a lot of fun. And then I also had a young co-star who played my daughter, and she was lovely. So I always enjoy scenes where I get to work with kids and puppies.
Puppies.
Pretending to be pregnant and people sitting on your face. I'm not sure where to go with that.
Well, I was going to go with children and puppies because I read her bio on her page, and I want to know, did you write your own bio?
I did.
You did. So for our viewers and our listeners later, and people viewing this later, the last line, I had to go, I'm going to have to ask. She says, I think babies smell sweet, but they taste even better.
Yeah, I wrote that down because I with a question.
I beat you to that one because you beat me to all the other questions that I had written down. So it's my turn. Would you like to enlighten us with that?
I think it was just I wanted to show a little bit of my hand that their appearances are not always what they seem. I think when somebody initially meets me, I try to exude a very warm and welcoming and innocent expression. But there's a lot of cork under there, and so that was my way to be like, yes, I think babies are adorable, and they do smell good. Like when you smell like it's like pastries, when you think of, when somebody's baking, you're like, oh, there's like that warm heartwarming feeling when you smell fresh baked pastries. And I think with fresh, like clean babies too, they just smell good. And then eat them up,
until they poop.
Well, that's not the side of it,
Who invited this guy? Just curious.
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna throw puppies in the mix, their feet smells like popcorn.
Really?
No, Fritos. Fritos, dude.
It's popcorn.
It's Fritos.
Puppy toes is popcorn.
Oh, maybe puppy toes are popcorn. Dogs are Fritos.
See what I mean? We have the train just.
Yes.
You've also done some theater too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you like doing theater, or do you prefer doing the acting? They're both acting, but you know what I mean.
Right. Like I love both. There's definitely the positive aspect of theater is that you get that instantaneous live feedback from the audience, and you feel like you are creating the story and bringing them into it. And there's that direct connection versus film and TV, it's like you're recording it and then you never know like what people, unless they tell you, but like you don't know what the response is going to be to your performance. Right. And then of course theater is typically on a larger scale versus film and TV. You need to be subtle because if you make any large grand gestures, it's going to explode on the screen. It just becomes too big.
Right.
Okay. And in theater, you can hear the boos, but in the movies, you'd have to be in the theater to actually hear it.
Hopefully not.
What the hell, Jeff?
Like I said, who invited him?
Unless if I would love to play a villain and have people boo me, because I feel like then that means that I did my job, where like I am a nefarious enough character that people like hated me.
Wow, do you hear that, Marvel?
I was just going to say that. I was literally just going to say, did you hear that, Marvel? But then again, Jeff, she is in New York. city, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brooklyn.
she's only about 40 minutes from Bill's studio. So the next time we're down there filming, we could have her play a villain, and definitely she could get some booze. we get booed all the time.
Oh, really?
We're not actors, but we have to be.
I know we are running on time. Jeremy was asking if there was any big mess ups on set.
In the New York Minute?
Yep.
Not during my storyline. I'll say that like one of my co-stars, Nina. So the character's name is Nina. She was played by Celia All. She mentioned that during their storyline, I think there was a day where something happened with the food truck where the power went down, and so they had to get a generator. But mine was smooth sailing, so I was very grateful for that.
Very cool, very cool.
So we did mention, well, you brought up D&D before the show.
Yeah.
And you were in a show, True Believers. Are you a comic book fan?
Yes, I grew up with X-Men.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Psylocke was my hero. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Marvel X-Men series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Wolverine and Cyclops and Rogue. I loved Rogue and Gambit. So all of those characters were a part of my childhood.
See, we all have an inner geek.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
And X-Men's coming back. You know, they got the 90s cartoon is being rebooted.
I think I read something about that. Pretty exciting.
Very cool. Yeah. We were actually joking about X-Men the other day. I have 44 copies of #1, the one from like the 90s.
What?
Yeah, it's not worth much, but it was like I thought it was gonna go up in value, so I bought a crap ton of them. But
I was just gonna ask why 44, and why 44? I feel like that's a very
yeah. It was just
that's all the store had.
Okay.
Much, yeah.
Give them to me. Give them all to me.
I'll just take this.
A nice round number like 25 or 50, but 44. I was like, is there some significance for you?
You know, there was 5 different covers, you know, and I had to make sure I had multiples of each one. And every time I went in, it was on the shelf because, you know, they printed like 2 billion copies. So
44 because 6 people beat you to the store.
Yep, exactly.
Probably.
See that?
Wow.
So you use a sword as well? Now is that just for acting or for film combat, or do you actually use a sword? Are you trained in it?
It was for film combat. I would love an opportunity to get to learn sword fighting it for reality. Although I have to say there was one time when I was going to set with my sword and riding this New York City subway. This was years ago. So, but even still, I think somebody must have like notified like there was a cop that was at the end of the platform. And so he kind of came over and he was like, what is, and it was like, oh, it's a prop. It's for filming. And he was like, all right, just be careful with that. Don't pull it out. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, definitely. I didn't even think about it. Right. But
right.
Technically it's like a concealed weapon. I don't know. But you know, it was just a prop to me.
I'm sure that's not the strangest thing they've seen on the New York City subway.
Right?
I'm just saying.
No.
Well, I've thought of that when we've had old Red in my back seat.
Yeah, I know. We have a 4-foot bong with gutter spikes that we use in our filming in comic book series. Yeah. So I'll have to get your email and I can forward you the PDFs of our comics.
Please do.
If you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we are running short on time. We have about a minute and a half left, folks. So, I mean, there's a ton of viewers. So get those questions up here. You got a minute and a half. Time started a minute ago. So,
so what do you have? What are you working on right now?
So one of my best friends, Janine Flynn, and her husband, Adam Charleston, have a production company called Cleomark Productions. And we've made a couple of projects together, Customer 935 and Emma Z, which was shot during the pandemic. So that was definitely something that helped uplift our spirits during that time. And then we will be having a project coming out called The Sleeper Awakens, where I play a magical creature. And all of these will be available on IFT TV. for viewing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Magical creatures. There you go, Leo. There's another interview for a future show for you.
There we go.
I would love that. That's like my dream role, is to play like some kind of fantasy sci-fi role.
Very cool. Very cool.
So
I'm
if
sure.
you guys know anything in the universe, so villain or all three, you could combine all of it.
Well, you know, speaking of villains, it looks like several of your co-stars from the movie were villains on Blacklist. Maybe they can get you in as a villain of the week in Blacklist.
I should ask them about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, it was funny. I was going through all your co-hosts and co-stars, and I'm seeing Blacklist.
Yes, very popular in New York.
You sure it said Blacklist and not Blacklisted?
Oh no!
I'm just teasing. But we have to wrap this up. So
D&D takes precedence.
Yes, it does.
Well, it did for us for many
understanding.
years.
No, absolutely.
No, I was a dungeon master myself for many years.
Oh yeah.
And he I've known Jeff for 36 years, so he was my DM.
Nice.
So yeah. And a lot of people in our chat are D&D players, so they understand.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right.
So last question for you, Jeremy asked, if you were to go and get a role within Marvel, who would you like to play?
I would love to play Psylocke. Psylocke is in Marvel, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That would be or if they could. I mean, the thing is, they've already done so many of the like X-Men movies that like the characters that I would want to play have already, unless they totally revamped, like they do with Spider-Man, where they just keep recasting and retelling the origin story. But yeah, I think Psylocke, or if they wanted to do like an alternate universe Rogue, I've always found her character super interesting.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Rumor is they're redoing the X-Men since Marvel owns everything, or Disney owns everything now. So
right.
You may get your chance. That'd be awesome.
They should introduce Rogue's sister, Rags.
Jeez. So Amy, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
That Instagram would be great. I'm at Miss Tempt Asian, TEMPTASIAN, like a little play on words.
Awesome. And I have all those show notes in our links in the show notes up above or down. Hey, it's been a long day.
You're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you. In the show notes up above or down below, like I said, my name is Leo. Just Google me. I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Jeffrey,
go to stilltoking.com. That's all you need to know. Everything is there. And I want to say thank you, Amy. It sucks that we have to cut this short, but like I said, D&D takes precedence, and I would be doing the same damn thing.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, Leo says you can Google me, but please don't.
What do we find?
You'll find a lot of people that have my name that aren't me.
I have that problem too.
Yeah, I know, because I was looking it up. I'm like, who the hell is this bitch? This ain't her.
Very impressive women, though, I have to say. There's I think there's a producer
there was.
at Disney, and then there's a doctor, and yes.
So that's where my confusion came in, because it was a doctor, and then I happened to see the picture that poster that you were on from that commercial, and I was confused.
Same thing happened to me. I looked it up and I said, wow, she's really a great actress. Look at all these things. But no, in all seriousness, we want to thank Amy for taking time out of her busy schedule to come out and promote in a New York Minute. Go check it out. It's out now. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day so people like us can do what we do. We'll see you next week. We're out of here. Be safe.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.